sculptor, author. He's appeared on television, talked on radio, and lectured in Europe, America, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. When he was in his 50s, Hamish was an award-winning entrepreneur running his own furniture-making business. But his life changed abruptly when he was taken into hospital for emergency surgery.
The first thing I was aware of later on was looking up and seeing the surgeon and hearing him say, "Pity you were too late, chaps." And he took off his mask and went off. And I was a bit concerned because I had all my faculties were still there. And then I became aware that I wasn't looking at the surgeon from the operating table, but I was way above looking down. And he was chatting and they were closing the place up and putting lights out and all that sort of thing. And I had this incredible experience of moving up into a misty sort of area and then becoming aware that I was in a tunnel. And it was totally peaceful. It was a place of absolute compassion, of understanding, of no coercion to do anything at all. And I became aware actually that I wasn't me. I was a long tube with rounded ends, and this tunnel started to form around the mist. And as soon as I was aware of that, the tube started to move up the tunnel. There was a vague light at the end. And it came to rest just at the end of the tunnel. And I got out. I was no longer the tube. I was a sort of virtual baby in nappies, if you like. A symbol of total innocence, but completely without fear and very curious about the light. And then this experience starts getting trite because I didn't really have the language to describe it. But I got out and I went into this area of lighter area, which was sort of floored like alabaster marble and vague colours and movements and there were beings, not that I could see, but that I was aware of. And they were completely compassionate, loving, incredibly caring beings. And they said, this is the entrance to, and the wording is difficult here, the entrance to the level of life, if you like. These are our concepts, and these are some of our concepts. And if you feel that you if you can contribute to them, or even if you can understand them, you're welcome to come in. But they actually gave me all the experiences of all my lifetimes to make the decision whether to come in. And I looked at these concepts, and frankly, I didn't understand them. I thought, I just don't know enough. And I said to these, not said, but communicated to these amazing beings, I think I ought to go back. And then I was aware for the first time of the huge humour that's in the universe, and there was a sort of chuckle of appreciation. And the voices in unison said, "We think you should." So I did. I got back into the tube and went hurtling down the tunnel, knowing that at the end of it, and the visual thing was shards of glass that I was going to have to go through and pain. And in the event, I just went through with no pain at all. And the next thing I knew was a voice shouting, "Mr. Miller, are you in there?" And I wanted to communicate all this to where I'd been and what had happened, what a wonderful thing it was. So, having come back into my body, I came back with a completely new set of values. All the values I'd had before, all the important things that I seemed to be doing before were just a nonsense. And I was just so glad to be alive and be capable of appreciating what we have here, of sounds and people and colours and flowers and growing things. And it was a fundamentally life-changing experience. And the other big thing is I came back completely without fear of anything, because once you're not afraid of death, there's not much point in being afraid of anything else. And I decided that what I was doing was not very satisfying, so I came down to Cornwall and I went down here because I knew there was something down. I'd been pulled down here for years. And then shortly after that, there was an advertisement for a talk by Colin Bloy, who was using dowsing and healing. And I was certainly interested in the healing bit, and I was intrigued by the dowsing bit, so I went along to that. It was in Devon. And he was demonstrating this dowsing technique and healing technique, and using dowsing to find out where things were wrong. And then he started talking about the energy in the land, and the energy that the old Templars had left in various places, and the extraordinary manifestations that you could pick up on that, and the energy from the stones. And I went up to him at the end and said, can you point me to a dowser in Cornwall, because I'd love to work with the stones and douse them. And he said, do it yourself, and walked away. And I felt totally rejected. And of course he was right, because he opened this door to me, and it was a few months later that I went into the forge and I whacked out one of these big dowsing rods that were around somewhere. And I very tentatively walked across the garden here and said, is there an energy line between Trencrom Hill and St Michael's Mount? And I got this very, very faint reaction, which completely changed my life.